Commissioner Barton?
Present.
Commissioner Kroll?
Present.
Commissioner Coppinger?
Present.
Attorney Phelan?
Present.
Lieutenant Hubbard?
Present.
Okay. Right, and we'll hold off on minutes of our last meeting until the next meeting.
All right.
Then we have 3 one-day licenses for North Shore Latino Business Association for a holiday gathering fundraiser on Friday, December 13th, and a one-day license for Center Board for an art gallery opening on Saturday, December 14th, and another one day for Arts After Hours at the Lynn Museum for a dance fundraiser on Saturday, November 30th. All of them are nonprofit organizations.
I'll move that we approve that way. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, and then we have a change of license. Rincon,
He's not his wife right now. Full-time.
Francis is kind enough to say that Basilio's on his way here. This is,
Okay.
matter went to the city council, was unanimously approved. Basilio's been before you before, approved as a manager. This is a change from beer and wine. I don't think there's been a single incident at Recon since they've had a beer and wine. Perhaps it's the proximity to this building. It's right there.
right?
So if you want to wait, he'll be here a little bit, but I don't know that he's going to say more than, and you're familiar with him because he's been here before.
Very nice.
Does a very good job.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And he also, is, I mean, it's essentially a food business. If you drive by, you see, they do a lot of catering, and he serves the Hispanic community
He's the
in
number
the
one
catering
in the
business.
Latino community.
And overall, as I say, I don't think I've had one complaint about him in the operation since he's been there, which is several years.
I agree. So the same owners, everybody stays the
Oh, yeah,
same?
right.
Just changing the beer.
Yeah,
You're wanting to-
right. He and his daughter really are the people that are involved. He's in the kitchen, and she's usually in the area out front. And he would be the same manager under the new license if he was approved.
The hours stay the same?
Yeah, right.
That was great to
Any
me.
other questions? I know they're in very good standing with us, so.
All right, thank you.
I'd be willing to entertain a motion to accept the change.
Make a motion to grant a full alcohol license to Rincon. 66?
350.
350.
Yes. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Good. I like it when it's easy like that.
Nice.
Okay. Okay, and then we have a continued hearing here for Fox Nostro.
This matter was on, I believe, last month. Mr. Sedano, who's the manager, is here. He was ill and has been ill for some time.
Right.
And that's part of our problem. He employed an individual who, both fools him and me, who has a management company called Ashley Management, and represented to us, and it is true based on our previous checking, that this individual ran a club in Chelsea. Attorney Richard Clayman used to represent him. Attorney Clayman passed away, and if you remember, Tracy Tavilla, she's been here before, she's a female attorney. She works out of Clayman's office. So we made an inquiry with respect to the operation in Chelsea and the things he represented to us, among which was citizenship, which turned out apparently not to be the case, though he is married to an American citizen. The report, I don't really have any quarrel with except to explain a couple of things. One is that I think on the night in question, the police went in earlier and explained as they had, and I had already presented him with a copy because I have it here. I gave him a copy of the set of the rules. I had given him the business about what's required with respect to cover charges, and I went over the rules of the board with respect to promoters, security, and what was represented to me was that on this particular night, I'll go down the list. I think the report says there were no tickets. I think that's accurate. There wasn't a sign at that time, but I did bring pictures that show that when they do these events, and I can't say that I can read Spanish very well, but I think that this is a picture of them checking in the girl at the desk. And the sign says, it's the same, I asked the translation, but it says the same price for men and women, $10, all right? So, and then this also pertains, they have a buffet of free food that they put out, and that has relevance in two ways. And I'll come back to that in a second. This is the security at the door, checking people in. This is the security in the parking lot, and I'll relate to that. So back to the food. The police came in and said, hey, with respect to having a cover charge, you can't charge two different prices, you gotta have tickets. And then they left. They made certain observations, and then they came back. When they came back, the staff was inside, there weren't any customers. They made observations then. As to that, the relevance of the food is this. The regulations of the ABCC allow service by a carafe or a bottle when it's more than one person and food is served. This is regulation 204-4.04. It's an exception to the cover charge rule. The cover charge rule and certain prohibited practices says down on number 204.4.03 that no licensee or agent of a licensee shall sell, offer, or sale, or deliver malt beverages or mixed drinks by the pitcher except to two or more persons at any one time. So the idea that you can't have a carafe, you can't have a pitcher, you can't sell mixed drinks, that's not what the regulations say. And there was clearly food there, and there clearly was service to more than two persons. Now, when they came back the second time, they were sort of gathered at the bar going over what the police had indicated needed to be corrected earlier in the evening. The second thing they were doing is when there's leftover food, they don't throw it away, they give it to the wait staff and the people to take home. And the next thing is that when they came outside, the reason that they waited is to take the walk the waitresses with the security to the parking area. And it was about, they had last call 12:30, 12:35, customers were out at 12:55. The waitresses were inside with the bartender and the DJ and two security individuals. They do have a camera that films what goes on. I was told, I wasn't there, I don't know, that one of the officers was asked if they wanted to taste what was in the carafe because it was cranberry juice. They said no, they didn't want to taste it. The individuals were taking home some of these tacos and other food, but there weren't any customers, as I say, coming out. The waitresses were at the bar, but the meeting was to explain what had happened when the police came earlier, to walk them back to the car because it was after 1 o'clock, and then to distribute the leftover food. So I don't dispute that it was after 1 o'clock. I don't dispute the earlier report that said they had observed no tickets. I do say that they charged the same to males and females. So to correct this, I went back over what I had previously done, which was the minimum cover charge statute, the regulations with respect to cover charge, which I have here, and I thought we had it in hand, but I've been told since, I think by Attorney Phelan, there are some other reports. What I suggested to Mr. Cedeno is that he find another individual. He's obviously feeling better than he did a month or so ago. And what I would propose to do is, if he can't continue, is to bring in at the next meeting another individual other than Miguel Sanchez to be the on-site manager in hopes that hands-on with somebody who is on the level can help us. As I say, this individual, I think, is being detained under an immigration matter. I'm not an immigration attorney. I don't know what his status is in the country or without, but I can tell you that with respect to the business, he's no longer associate. I'm glad to leave the picture and a copy of these regulations.
The first question, Eric, what were the dates the pictures were taken?
I don't believe that these were the pictures taken that night, because I agreed that there was no tickets. But now I wanted to show you that, I don't know how the pictures are there. They do have a girl in the sun, yeah, and that they do check people in. You're supposed to give people a numbered ticket. You get a charge for men and women the same price.
So this is what's been happening since.
Right.
Since
So
this
you read this sign, it says males and females in Spanish. It says one set price. There they are, counting people in at the doorway. This is people lined up, waiting to gain admission. This is, with respect to the food, they put out a free buffet. And the food is served, people go up and help themselves. So at the end of the night, as I say, what was left over is dispersed among the staff. And the parking lot security, they do patrol and go outside, and then they wait after last call to take the waitresses out. If you're familiar with the site, there's really no on-site parking. And there's a big lot, which is the State Street lot where the Shaw's is and that strip mall. So this is across the street. But I think that going forward, as I say, the better solution is to find someone else. And now that he's better, if he can't carry it out, then we'll submit another name.
What was the first thing you said, Sam, about the management company or whatever? Was there a management
We
company
checked
there?
it out. There's a company that these people have.
Who's these people, the owners of Glen had it?
No, that this individual had.
Who's that individual?
Miguel Sanchez had a business called Ashley's Management Company.
And who were they working for?
They were providing management services while he was ill.
For Glen
But, so we then, the representation to us was that they had been in business in Chelsea, that they ran a place in Chelsea, and that they had had no problems. I asked who I could check with. He said, Richie Clayman's dead, okay, I can't check with him. So I called Attorney Tavilla, who's been here, who has handled many of Richie's cases since then, about the operation of this business in Chelsea, because I didn't know firsthand. So they hadn't had problems. Person claimed experience. I said, this is in Chelsea, more than once. This is Lynn, okay? I gave him a set of the rules. I went over various practices. He had, answers for us. But there were certain things that we learned subsequent that were misrepresentations, one of which is his citizenship. All right? I understand that he's married to an American citizen, but whether he's here lawfully, I don't know the answer to. I know he's being detained on that. So he's out of the picture, whether we want him out of the picture or not, he's out, okay? And so the real question, I think, is going forward, if he can't carry it out, we're going to find someone who's able. We have a woman who we sent to get tips trained, who has some experience. And if he's unable to carry on, then I will bring in an application to change the manager from him to her.
So just so I understand this, how far back were these people running the operation?
From the end of the summer to
Yeah.
present. So that would be
Before 6 months.
August,
Yeah,
September,
August.
October, November.
Who was in charge?
It's been about 6 months, Dick.
He's
6 months.
Yeah, it's been about 6 months since.
But
you guys were there.
they never informed the board that they changed
Change
management.
names.
Well, we didn't know what his health status was going to be, but,
So if you're healthy, you don't have to tell the board you changed your managers?
excuse me?
If you're healthy, you don't
If
have
you're
to
the
tell the
president of a
board.
corporation
that
and
you
you're
changed
unable to
managers?
serve,
I thought that
you
they
can
needed to be
designate someone to
informed.
serve until you, he didn't cease being the manager, he ceased being well.
Being there.
What I don't get, I understand what steps you're taking, but I just don't like the way this is transpiring, like, if this gentleman may or not be ready to be able to continue. So,
Well, that's a medical decision and his personal decision. I just think that,
well, we need
We need to be
change
told.
right
We
Yeah.
need to be
Well-
informed.
he wasn't here last meeting because he.
Right, we have that letter here.
He's here tonight. I asked him in terms of what he thought going forward. I asked him if he was unable to go forward, who would do it. I know the woman he's speaking of, and I know because I sent her to go get tip string. But it's either gonna be him or this woman, being the manager.
And we need to be informed.
Yeah, but the next meeting, I think, is December 10th, it's 2 weeks.
Who's gonna be in charge this weekend?
He is.
You're gonna be on the premises?
Yep, we're doing this weekend.
I don't know, just doesn't give me a good feeling.
Attorney Phelan, I have a question regarding serving of the alcohol in carafes.
Well, I thought I
When
had
it's a
read that.
free buffet, I just don't
No,
understand.
I mean, it's two or more persons and there can be mixed drinks in there. And I thought I had read that it was served just alcohol that was poured in there. That's not a mixed drink. I mean, but I'm not sure.
They mix it
You
on
can
their
serve
own.
wine by the bottle or carafe and sold with meals.
But it's
to
gotta
more
be
than one
table
person.
service, which means
You
there's a
can.
waitress that needs to come
Correct.
with food.
You
and
can.
I read
plate
it, it
for
says mixed drinks in the pictures.
Like a
So-
restaurant.
It says, and it
Not
says
like
That's what it
that.
sounds
and-
like to me.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they offer the free buffet, a couple of bags of chips, and I think that
Well,
suffices
I don't
as
think
food.
it was free buffet, it was a bag of chips.
Well,
Tacos,
whatever, it's
whatever.
table service means it's a restaurant, you sit down, a waitress comes over with a plate of food, you order it, she delivers it to your table, not you go up and get your own food.
The regulation doesn't make that distinction. The ABCC does not make that distinction.
But I think we need to have that clarified, because to
We
me,
can
it
clarify
sounds
it
to
in
me
the
like the
rule, but-
spirit of the law
State laws, you
would
can only
mean,
2 drinks per person.
yeah.
So how can you control a carafe of whiskey?
So it says an exception is you can sell or deliver malt beverages or mixed drinks by the pitcher, except to 2 or more. So if there's 2 more
These
people,
aren't
you can
mixed,
do
they're
it.
mixing it on their own. They've got like a, I'm telling you what they're doing. It doesn't
That
sell you
may be,
there.
but the allegation
They
was
deliver-
that you cannot sell in a carafe. That's not true. You can sell in
They
a carafe.
deliver the carafe, they deliver something to mix it with, and they have ice buckets on the table. So they're mixing their own drinks like it's their own little private bar,
That's clearly a violation.
Well,
which would clearly
again,
be a
if it's
violation.
wine in a carafe or
It's
beer in a
not
pitcher.
wine, it's not wine,
Or
it's not
beer in a
beer.
pitcher.
And
It's
Fenway
whiskey.
I
Park
do
can be
think the
beer.
rule
talking
is
about
gonna
saying
be
we're talking
pending
about
is
what it
going to
was that gave a
clarify this.
violation.
Okay.
Because I think it is.
I wasn't there, I can't
We also
say.
was there.
Well, I'm telling you.
Excuse me. Attorney Phelan?
We do have a proposed rule because of the ambiguity in the ABCC regulation that were proposed. I don't think we've voted on, we've published it yet, and we're going to. It is going to clarify, it will be more restrictive in regard to this, because it has popped up on a couple of occasions now. And there is no definition of mixed drink, but it seems as if you put in mixed drink, it was different from pure alcohol. I mean, so, but I don't know, we're definitely going, we've already taken a step in the right direction. We've given out a draft in regard to that, or we've discussed it and it's going to be, but it's going to be rectified by this board and the local rules.
Do we have a copy of the past history?
I think we're looking at the incident that occurred on 9/22. And on 9/22, there were definite violations in terms of,
We acknowledge it.
Okay.
The tickets,
the tickets and the
the
postage,
sign,
right,
yeah.
and the admission prices being different.
Well, I was told it was the same. I can't say. I know there was no sign, I know there were no tickets.
Well, when I asked the girl, she said it was $5 for women and $10 for
Right.
guys. I mean, that pretty
And
much
that's
sums
here
it up
in
for
the,
me.
and that's here in the report.
So they have quite an extensive history. I'm not sure
Well,
what
in the
this.
past year though,
What
the board has had,
date did this gentleman take over, do I know?
when did he take over? How long ago was it?
Oh, okay.
No.
No.
When did you first go to?
¿Cuándo usted empezó? O sea,
Oh, 2011.
I'm not sure, to be honest, what we should do. I mean, I'm not happy with what's transpired about whether this gentleman can continue or not as the manager. I hear what they're saying about correcting things, another report next month coming up. I'm not sure. I would, myself, I would consider continuing this hearing until next month and merging them together. See
Without
how
giving you a
this
chance to
goes, but-
to definitively
my
give you
colleagues
an answer on the manager.
No.
But that's only in 2 weeks, I think, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I'm concerned about this going forward immediately.
I have to look at
Maybe it's not.
Ranger.
Okay.
A week from today is the 3rd.
I'm not sure if it's the 17th or the 10th.
I thought it was 10.
I gotta look at my,
I'll tell you why, because I happened to be in Quincy at 4 on the license committee. They had like 3 things on the same day, I think it was December the 10th.
I'll have to email everybody.
But whatever the next regular meeting is the next regular meeting. I don't know.
Let's
the
not
date.
get ahead of ourselves, but that's just one feeling. I don't know what my colleagues
Right.
think about this.
No.
There's violations here.
Right, there are violations here, and I think there are violations that we've dealt with in the past. I mean, I'm very concerned that we're still having the issues that we're having with the different prices for a male and a female, posting of signs. I mean, this can't happen.
Well,
It's
that's
still
why
sad.
I brought the pictures of the subsequent.
It's being corrected.
Right.
But on the 22nd of September, and that's the issue we're dealing with, this is a violation that has become habitual.
Well,
And I
in
think we need to-
2013, I don't know that they have the similar.
Can I just ask about this coming weekend? Who's gonna be on premises? Who's gonna be the manager? Who's gonna be the staff? What are you gonna-
Well, there's 2
you're gonna-
security people at work usually. There are waitresses, 3 or 4. So I think there's adequate staffing in terms of numbers.
This gentleman will be in charge and be there for the weekend, he'll be responsible
Yes.
for this thing. But that's,
He came on
yeah, I'm not trying to be sarcastic, but that's contingent on your health this weekend.
How was that taken?
So if you're not there this weekend, who would be there?
I think I can do it. I'll be there, promise.
Because I'm sure these gentlemen will be there. Stand on.
I'm off Saturday, so you can run amok Saturday.
Since he's taken.
I don't know, I just think we need to see some definitive change, something's gonna happen to change things dramatically and right away.
Yeah, what he proposed to do, but I'm concerned with the carafes and the, I'm really concerned with the carafes, I am, because to me, the spirit of the law is that you're at a restaurant, you sit down, you serve food, and you have drinks, not you pick and choose if you're going to go up and get something from the buffet. That doesn't cut it, in my estimation. I'm not comfortable with the craft, yes.
Not only that, Pat, they're not even sitting down, it's like a table and stand around.
There's small little bar tables, there's no chairs.
Just
Then
one
I'm definitely
comment
not
about,
comfortable with that.
just one comment about my thought about continuing. I mean, it seems like they have a plan to go forward, but at the same time, I don't want us to miss our opportunity to take corrective action if necessary. So it's either, I think we decide to take corrective action, or we let it go a month, see if they improve things. There is another hearing coming in. So I guess I don't want to sit here tonight and say, let's continue this without a finding or whatever.
Well, that,
The
no,
most serious thing
I
next
understand
month.
that you.
I don't want to let you off the hook.
Well, I would like to continue with the understanding that no carafes are being served any longer.
Yeah.
Until really, I mean, that has got to stop.
Well, most definitely, I see there's a note here about a bottle of Hennessy.
Yeah, no, that's good, that's.
Let's start a
stop.
carafe. That's-
Sounds more like cabaret type,
Yeah.
I'm really sorry, because I wasn't there this time, you know?
yeah, yeah. So I would have no problems continuing it till next month with the understanding that there will be no bottles served at the tables and there will be no carafes.
With the understanding that if we don't see some definitive action, we're gonna come back and take action regarding these violations. John, what do you think?
Sounds good.
I'll put that in the form of a motion.
Yeah.
Is there a proposed rule on this that we said?
We have discussed it in the past. We'll get it going to you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so, Mr.
I'll make that
Clevenger,
motion to continue, but you understand what's going on? We're gonna
Yes,
give you
sir.
a chance.
Yes, thanks.
Take advantage of it. Show us in a month, 3 weeks, whatever it is. Show these gentlemen first that you're gonna be able to change things there right away.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
all in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Alright, and then, okay, then we have someone from Limway Lounge. Hello?
They already approved it. They already started, but I just want to know that it did show up. You don't mean any disrespect, you just. I try to come
Thank you. See, that's good. Okay, yeah.
Pretty girl
Okay,
was in his hat, Jesus.
Okay, bottle service, lack of management and control, and prior history.
Calm down. Trying to reach your house. See, this is, so when I get down to, I think they're doing this one. So we can just ask.
Essentially the same thing.
Same thing.
Tell us that.
Okay, yeah.
According to Bridget, for the
Thanksgiving.
entered and the observed email.
Oh, the champagne.
Saying that they champagne proportion anymore. And over the manager, Jeffrey, discussed it.
I understand that, we made a promise that said, so let's
Couple
get right.
responses.
Because by
According to
then,
the manager, he has a,
I'm
since that's
the
a
phone.
you go, we did not actually deal with champagne, there's some public birthday package. We have non-alcoholic champagne anymore.
Who's there?
You have that thing?
Well, I think we were all there. Right, somehow we didn't mention that the night we were there, though.
Yes.
That's technically 1%.
If he was doing the right thing, he probably would have mentioned that night, not a month later.
I had the same exact comment. That's what he states, I don't say that. Football, he states.
This is right here.
I don't believe so. I don't believe so. I asked him that, he said he did not.
Don't say they still have alcohol.
What?
They say they have alcohol. So it says 20% alcohol.
Now I'll address that.
Only one way to find out. Yeah, yeah.
It's my understanding that we're non-alcoholics.
No, it's the 10th. Today's the 26th, and Tuesday the 3rd. Monday's the 10th, what are we talking? 21 days a month.
Thank you.
Yeah. For the regulations of the Alcohol Beverage Control Commission, as champagne was the allegation that was being served. Champagne is a sparkling wine from that section of France. So technically it falls within the framework of the regulation, which basically states you can serve wine in the bottle as long as 2 or more people are sitting at the location. We talk about food, we talk about anything else. If we look at the police report, the first paragraph, the last sentence, there were several champagne glasses on the table with several patrons. So it seems to meet the requirements of the regulation. And
It said
Oh.
therefore-
seated, she wasn't sitting, she was dancing.
It's a
With the bottle.
technicality. However,
Or if you want to split hairs, I mean,
the service of the bottle is promised.
Am I reading this wrong? It says here, with food,
What does it say that?
served with food. Offering free food or entertainment time for that, including the drink as part of a meal package.
Or to prohibit the sale or delivery of wine.
When
Either
sold
bottle.
with meals, I mean, am I missing something here?
Or
I don't get it.
more than one paid person.
Sure, yeah, but fine, but you still have to be serving
Service
food.
That's not really complimentary.
John, were these were brought in
These were brought in?
No, they weren't brought in, it was part of a, why don't you explain to what you?
Yeah, pretty much, if I have to do away with it, it's not convenient for me. What I do is if your birthday, what we do is we give you a birthday cake with balloons, and to my understanding, I was giving a non-alcoholic champagne. That's pretty much what I was giving. You know, for many years, I know that to serve free alcohol is against the ABCC, you know. So, that's pretty much what I was doing to attract clients and celebrate their birthdays there. But I feel like I
Let me
said,
ask you a question, why would I come in and want to have a birthday party at your establishment and have non-alcoholic champagne?
well,
Doesn't make sense to me.
they don't know it's not alcoholic.
Oh, boy.
They're not paying for it either, so it's not like.
Giving away food is a violation.
What's your best interpretation, Attorney Fail?
Well, I'm not sure if it's alcoholic, I'm not sure, I have to look and research whether if that's the case, whether that's considered an alcoholic beverage or not, I'm not sure on that at this point in time. But I do agree with some with the interpretation of Attorney Myhouse as the wine. I don't think that standing up with it and walking around with a big bottle is a safe thing for someone to be dancing and have drinks too.
And if it's a wish of the board, they'll just cut it out.
I would just make one other comment. With your past record, someone hit somebody else over the head with one of those, your license is gone.
So that's
Go on.
why I said, let's.
Go on, go
I'll
fight
do
it to the ABCC because we're gonna take it away.
Pretty much, that's why I said I'll do
I
away.
guarantee
I'm
that.
still totally confused.
Because of the or, you can, it's meant to be served, you know, so that one or two people aren't sitting down and just drinking
Drink.
a bottle of wine.
It's meant to be
That's it.
served with
That's
food.
With food or two or more persons, it
Or two
actually
or more
says, it says
people.
or. And we're going to mimic that, or our proposal is gonna mimic that, which says and or, so that and is in there. So that it does away with any
That would
ambiguity.
rectify the problem, obviously.
I think right now, that's the ambiguous part of this rule. And I know what the intention is, I think they're just, it's,
Yeah. All right. We're definitely gonna get this
We're gonna have to take this.
we'll move on.
ASAP. ASAP. Yeah, it would truly be my recommendation that you cease and desist this.
Comes down immediately. Service now.
I would suggest we do the same thing as the other one, continue for a month, get a clarification on it, and they agree to start immediately. And again, I don't let them off the hook if there's no something wrong.
All right, is that a motion?
I'll make that a motion, to continue until next month for clarification.
With the understanding that this cease and desist.
Now, we come back in next month, what thing? And nothing.
See how things are going?
We'll have clarification, and tell us about the new policy.
Yeah, okay,
Pretty much we're doing away with it.
All right.
okay. All right. All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Thank you for your cooperation. Good. But this is great. Oh, it's outrageous. Okay. Okay, and everybody saw the letter from the Olympia Square Apartments. Because I spoke with the woman.
Say,
and,
just brought me up the cream.
She's-
We want to try.
She's reasonable, she understands, you know, that,
Yeah, they wouldn't know.
can't definitely pinpoint it on there, but she wishes to hear from the thing. So,
So now, she's harassed the whole call.
I don't think I'm,
Which one?
The whole thing.
okay, well, let's look and see, I think, let's look at,
Police report.
yeah, because they're on it, so, let's take a look at the police reports. And if it's not, then we'll definitely bring them in, just to make them aware of this letter, and to reiterate with them when they do get letters, because we received a copy of the letter that was sent to them, and they hadn't responded to the people, and as good neighbors, they really should at least respond. Okay, so, let's see, police reports, wanna tell us how you feel, officers? On, for the first one, we have, snowstorms, was,
Hearing. That's what I'm hearing.
assault and battery,
Yeah.
domestic.
put the lady in Lower Connect, maybe next month, too?
Well, yeah,
Okay.
just to
Yep, I agree,
address.
I agree.
Hearing for the police report and the letter?
Okay, wait a minute. How do you feel about that police report?
Yeah, it was a domestic inside there,
Is this Mama Blanca's or
I
Snow
was
Show?
talking about Winoosh.
Okay, continue
I
then,
mean,
what do you think?
The officers responded to a domestic in the
Mhm.
male blind, and they ended up seeking a warrant for him.
Mhm.
I don't know if there were any clear, identifiable instances in there that the business was improper. I mean, I just know they went there, the woman had no visible injuries, but she made, you know.
Right. And you don't feel that the business itself did anything wrong?
Do we have an issue with them calling? I don't think it has.
No, I don't think
With
we
the
did.
domestic, I don't know.
It just happened to have been a domestic
Yeah.
in the
Right,
business.
so just accept the files without finding them?
Which one, Mama Blanca?
No,
Oh,
Los
Mama-
Nostros,
Okay,
yep,
file.
yep.
All right, Mama Blanca?
Now, Mama Blanca's is the one outside of the business, and they refused to leave. This was like, 12:50, so this was at the end of the night.
Yeah, this is, Officer Pierre submitted this,
Mhm.
again, at the end of the evening, you know, and there's quite a few people outside, they're not leaving,
Mhm.
they're disobeying the officer's commands to leave or requests to leave. All of a sudden, there's pushing and shoving, and there's a fight outside. It's hard to tell where the people were coming from. It's
Mhm.
obvious they were coming from, probably both bars.
Okay.
But without, I don't think the report indicates that any of the aggressors specifically were coming out of there. But it was certainly a disturbance that was exacerbated by people that were intoxicated right there at those bars. It's not a coincidence that they were in the corner.
And you think it was both bars?
Was-
You think it was both bars? Antigua?
I know that it doesn't identify specifically one.
Antigua closes usually,
Yeah,
Even though they're rolling out of there.
Excuse me, I'm actually brother of Saul Sanchez of Casa Antigua.
okay.
My cousin was there at that time. I wasn't there, but I was told it was quite a big crowd out there. We had 3 customers inside. What we're doing now, ever since the bar next door opened, we close the door at midnight, simply because.
You're done at midnight, no customers.
No customers,
Nobody.
because, you know, usually what they do is, or whoever, we think that whoever comes at that time is just, you know,
That's right.
drunk people or troublemakers.
Mhm.
So it doesn't make sense for us to have the door open and, you know, start dealing with that kind of people,
Smart.
you know.
Somebody wants to do
Smart.
And I was told that, yes, you know, something, you know, the police was all over the place, the street.
Mhm.
But, you know, from my understanding, we didn't have much people in, and most of, I understand all of them will come out from Mama Blanca's.
Were you
place.
closed at 12 that night?
Yes.
That night? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that, I would accept that as true.
Smart move. Smart move. Okay, I should say, let's bring them in, address this, and address also the letter at the same time. Just to once again reiterate with them that they need to be more
GDs.
aware of how much they're serving and serving to whom. Okay, JD's, Lewis Street. Oh, yeah, operating under the, it's, again, it didn't happen at JD's, somebody's saying that they were coming from JD's, and so I guess we just have to accept this for the file.
There's one other thing with JD's that, if you recall, when they first opened, I think they were expanding premises.
Yeah, they expanded, yeah.
I went by the other day looking at it, you go by, you'll see the beauty salon sign all the way over to the right, now they have a JD's sports bar sign underneath the beauty salon sign, so either they've expanded again or they're illegally advertising on that side, I don't know. Maybe you wanna check that out.
Yeah, they never came back.
They just,
Yeah.
I think they just knocked out a hole in the wall, like a doorway, put a doorway through, and just kind of made it.
I thought that's what they did, yeah.
I don't know if they ever came before the board
No.
to
That's
expand
I'm
the
sure
club.
they did. Maybe it was operating out there.
Yeah, we did, we
Yeah,
called him
they-
in. We-
yeah,
we-
yeah, yeah.
I thought he was
Yeah.
supposed to come
Yeah.
back. For some reason,
Right,
I
yeah.
never saw him again, it was kind of
So he was stopped.
shady.
Right.
Yeah. Shady.
If you go by, you'll see the beauty salon sign is still there with the bar sign underneath it.
So do you wanna call them in for a conference?
I would suggest we should.
Right.
Whatever you say about both of those.
Conference?
Yep,
At least make sure they're aware of that OUI.
that people are saying it.
We'll go by this week and check out the, if it's still using that open space, so.
Right, and China Bowl,
The China Bowl, there's several reports here. This is an incident that happened down there where a pedestrian was struck, run over, and killed. And there were several reports generated by the responding officers, and then, obviously by traffic investigators, along with the state police, but tellingly by the Lynn Police Criminal Investigations, Detective Mulvey. When I started reading all these reports, I was actually, I think it was Ross and myself. We responded that night when the incident happened. It was confusing, and the officers were getting information. They were following up on the vehicle that was stopped. But I was there when the officers interviewed the representative, the witness, the bartender, and she clearly said this did have nothing to do with the business, and nobody was in the business. It wasn't until I read the interviews from the state police and the detectives of Lynn Police, Detective Mulvey, that one of the involved persons clearly stated they were inside the bar, they were drinking, there was a problem, and they took it outside. So that clearly is a problem if the business, the bartender, the owners have, policy of not becoming forthright with the officers when they're around.
The other
do
issue.
we know who the bartender was?
She's listed in there, Yolanda.
The other issue we had down there was, and I don't have the rule in front of me, but we went down later that day to see if there was videotape of the incident of those people being in there. Somehow it didn't save it from 24 hours prior to us being there, so.
We asked about the videotape, and we asked specifically if either the victim or any of the potential suspects were in there. It was clear, no. Oh, no, they weren't in here. That's Miss Yolanda Murray.
Yes, it is, yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yep, here it,
Is that
and
in
can
the other police report?
we
All the reports
request
that are
that the
here,
bartender be present? Because a lot of times just
I
the
don't
owners.
think, no, actually, I don't think the
Not
officers put that in there specifically. I can generate a supplement on top of these reports and put that in there.
Yeah.
But then they asked it, and I was there when it was asked, echoed it myself to them.
Okay. Next one, window strip?
Runaway Store, this last one was an incident where there was a fight inside the bar. And a victim was struck in the head with a broken glass, a couple of times, several times, sustained injuries to his head. I guess, reading the report and speaking with the management down there after, they broke up the fight. The party didn't want to go to the hospital, the injured party. He went to the hospital on his own with a friend. They said they called, Officer Detective Pettipes and myself specifically asked her to make sure, did you call? There was a record of the call. It wasn't recorded who called, so we'll accept the fact that they may have called from the bar. They offered medical attention, so they say, to the victim, who refused it and went on his own. But subsequently, the second person was identified, was arrested. The fight inside the bar, whether it's because of management lost control or for whatever reason, and somebody was injured, it did result in arrest. I will say one thing though, that they did have video, and we asked about it, and they made it readily available to us, and we do have that we use during the court process.
So you feel it was handled properly?
Well, I do feel that they were forthcoming with the video. They said they called, we can't dispute
Right.
that. So it was a fight,
Okay.
an incident.
So, hearing files. Okay, we've got 3 new ones today.
You did? I didn't get, did you get any? Well, I say you- The next meeting? We haven't gotten them yet. Well, these are, we just got these. Don't we wait till we all get them? Can I read over my shoulder?
I think it's the management company.
Look at this.
Yeah,
They just came.
yeah, I just.
You got them?
Well, Vinny just showed me. Something over there, but it's, in the ball report, the manager of the Nostro, I'm not sure, but then, the person who was there.
They haven't even gotten to do this before yet.
No, they know it's coming.
They do? All right. Well, let's bring them back. Well, they're coming in anyway, so let's just add
Add it
this
right
to
on.
it. All right, and what about this
I
for
think the strange thing was the girl that he's talking about is the ex-girlfriend of the guy that was arrested.
Right. The one they sent to get police training, it's gonna potentially take over.
Ex-girl.
She has 2 kids by the guy that's being deported. So it's,
So, they'll be,
What's this?
friends. What do they do? Yeah, that's,
All right. Strands, we're gonna, apparently he got assaulted in the restaurant. I don't know if he reported it to the establishment. France?
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I did do a follow-up on
Okay.
that. I don't have a report. Did we have a report of that in the packets? Is that-
No, we
No,
just
that's
did,
for next month.
yeah, came over
Came over
today.
today.
Yeah.
that's for next.
That's what I want, I know, shouldn't we wait till next month to deal with it?
Okay, it's busy December already.
Yeah.
Mm. Mhm.
I mean, yeah, because we already. And I would have done that with Los Mexico's too, but except they're already coming in, so we may as well deal with everything at once.
All right, so what you say?
Oh. So we'll talk.
Files.
All right. Okay, then we have old business, no new business, old business, discussion on any discussion on
New business?
New business,
New Easy.
new
Well, this
business.
is old business. Just wanted to let you know that Basilio did arrive.
We know it.
He didn't have
Ladies,
any
gentlemen,
disrespect.
Francis,
And that's so
thank you.
fast, if you saw
Really
the
apologize.
young woman that ran in with his cap, I asked
I
her,
didn't know
my
how to be here
daughter.
today. I'm really sorry.
Yo, very well.
It's not a disrespect to you. I'm sorry, very sorry.
We know that.
Thank you.
Oh, you can.
If I can
Thank
just,
you.
one more thing. Jay's here. This is one I take responsibility
It's
for.
on the new business?
It's actually old business. I had been before you with respect to Jay becoming the manager at the Phoenix. And we made an arrangement that said, until he was approved. All right? Well, I will tell you that I believed that that was going to be a relatively quick process. The reason it isn't is that I made a mistake. Debbie and I had a conversation about whether a change of manager requires this certificate of good standing. And I believed one thing, she believed another thing. I thought it was sent in, it wasn't sent in. When I realized that 2 or 3 weeks had gone by, I was going to take that away from us.
Yeah, get him up.
Having a tough night.
And the reason is that the change of manager that we were talking about was a change of manager of an LLC, okay? I talked to Ralph Sacramone at the ABCC, and he said, a change of manager is just change of manager. You don't need to do the filing from the Department of Revenue. So the minute we heard that, I called and talked to Debbie, and we confirmed that, and she sent it in. But in the interim, 3 weeks went by. He's asked whether he could open on Thanksgiving. That's a Thursday. And I said I would make the request because they have abided, they haven't been open, but Thanksgiving is a big day in the business apparently. And so that's why I'm here. And I gotta believe, I called the ABCC today, there's no problems with him being approved. It's just that they said to me, well, you didn't send it up to, when did we send it? Like a week ago, right? Yeah. And not any fault of Debbie's, mine. So, that's why I wanted to just say, if you could give that some consideration. And I told him that I'm confident, based on my conversation today, that he will be approved by the next meeting, okay? So I just said, let's just deal with Thanksgiving period, and after that, if you don't get approved, you don't get approved. But I believe he will be, and you'll know that at the December the 10th meeting.
Who's gonna be in charge on Thanksgiving? You
Yeah.
all day?
All night. We greatly appreciate it.
Is that a motion?
Yep.
Yeah, I'll make that follow motion.
Thank you.
All in favor? Yeah. We're all in favor. Okay, and then our business, any more discussion on the local rules and regulations?
Just quickly, while Blanca is finishing, they made some
Mama Blanca?
modifications. I mean, South Santina.
Oh, okay, yes.
They made some modifications to our, I checked over with Rod Janis. He said that they didn't require them to get a permit.
Oh, yeah.
For whatever reason. So they didn't think that they
You know,
needed to notify them. But they basically took the bar from
I have
the rear
a
of the place.
copy of
turned
the,
it.
plan,
Yeah.
on file, and they didn't change any doorways or bathrooms or anything, so.
No, they moved the bar from the back to the side.
So,
So the plumbing probably stayed the same too, just spun it. That's probably why it's small in there anyway.
Right.
Yeah. So they probably didn't pull permits for a lot of that.
You know, they changed the location of the bar.
No, they would have still had to have come in front of us though.
Right, which they did.
Yeah, for us, with the.
But I think it was a miscommunication between the building department
Probably.
and what they did with you guys.
Roger's running out of show.
He's telling me so.
extension,
Yeah, right.
that's why I did not have them do an alteration.
To you too, as well.
Yeah, don't worry about it. You can just.
So they haven't been open.
Is that going in our local rule? I will be working on that all weekend.
We'll put it in.
You're thinking to correct the bottle.
Right, it'd be, we should take it
I
out.
want a carafe.
Yes.
More than one person can add food, take that
And
rule
you
out
have
of there.
to, they have to serve the things, you can't be serving themselves, but he goes, no, I don't wanna eat.
You could just have ice.
Give me a bottle, I don't want to eat.
Yeah, exactly.
No full bottles of alcohol, and no carafes of any kind. Drinks in glasses or cups only.
Okay.
On the weekend.
New Year's Eve.
He wasn't open.
Okay, but New Year's Eve, oh, New Year's Eve,
Take a motion, we approve everybody who
Who is
was
applied all the time,
and
yeah.
applied.
and apply,
Applied.
oh, look at you.
Applied with the regulation and who has applied.
Okay, there was questions on 3 of them. Linway Lounge.
They have violations.
They do, they serve at least a 4-day.
Yeah, yeah,
They're not
yeah,
qualified.
they're not
Motion
qualified,
that they be denied.
yeah,
What's the other one?
and we'll give the exact date, reason why.
Okay.
And the other one is,
Len Westra.
that's not good.
They have,
They served a suspension,
Yeah.
January 2nd or 3rd, it's in here.
oh, so,
Yeah, we carried it, we held it over for them.
I mean, they don't comply.
No, they didn't comply.
Denied.
Right, and Mama Blanca's, we can't do anything
They've
with yet
appealed
because
it.
they've appealed it.
So we had to stay and they get their, they lucked out because it's after January.
Right.
So can we just get a final list of that?
Yes. Yeah.
So that night we know who's on it?
No.
Just send this to people that can't be
We never impose punishment.
Not everybody has
until they
applied.
get their-
So just.
Yeah, look.
Old Time didn't apply, Monty's, Antique Table, Tony's
Phoenix.
Pub,
I don't know.
Free Foul
Calendar
Play,
up there.
Junior
Really,
Pacific,
Tony's doesn't know there's not
Sports Center,
Phoenix did what?
Asian
Sports
Guide.
Center?
Yeah, they
always have a
applied.
big,
They applied.
right?
Tony's Pub.
So can we, what happened with the entertainment at the Phoenix? Because Sam Pinocchio over there is, they've been open. They weren't open, I think, last week, when they were doing a movie.
Is that
No, it's
meeting
not
with you?
affecting home.
Is that meeting with
We
you?
gave them 1 o'clock.
Is this new
No.
business?
No,
Oh,
they didn't?
business
Okay,
still
I
open?
wasn't-
What about the
We
license?
give them 1 o'clock tonight?
No, we gave it till
It's not
a month
closed.
ago, didn't we?
Was it?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, when Jay took over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
What's his name?
Jay.
Jay? Jay Wilson? Yeah, Jay Wilson.
Yeah, that's it.
He took over, we gave him 1 o'clock.
Right.
And the entertainment license
Well, wasn't there
isn't,
some issue with the entertainment
restrictions?
though?
Or is it the Thursday?
Back to 1 o'clock.
Just regular?
Entertainment license.
Okay.
Okay, motion to adjourn?
Always in order.